Welcome to the Sports Lounge, brought to you by the Sportsbook at Waterview Casino in Vicksburg.
Welcome into the Sports Lounge. I'm Jon Wiener.
And I'm Mackenzie Salmon. And coming up in the lounge, the big stories across the nation and here in Mississippi.
We'll deep dish on Southern Miss football. Took a trip with ISO Joe down to Hattiesburg last week. Everybody's favorite segment, little table for two. And David Brandt with the AP will join us, Mackenzie, live from Augusta National at the Masters.
Yeah, I can't say I'm not jealous, but I'm excited to play in some skee ball in game time.
I'm going to see if I can get a win, because the worst thing would be kick Ray out and then also lose to Mackenzie. Mackenzie, I just want to say thank you for coming into the Sports Lounge. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come here. This is like the coolest man cave.
Well, thanks. Well, and now it's a man and woman cave, and we're glad everybody is here with us in the Sports Lounge as well. You can get the show every week, facebook.com/Bash Brothers Media, Twitter @Bash Bros Media, and of course find us on our YouTube page as well. So Mackenzie, let's start with the Masters and just kind of a quick preview, and we can't wait to talk with David Brandt, but just sort of your thoughts on the golf tournament this week.
I mean, I believe there's 20 participants that have won it at one point or another that are playing, correct? Yeah. I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing is the fact that Tiger Woods is going to be playing.
And contending, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you have him. I know we're going to talk a little bit about it, but you're having him win it all. Yeah. Mackenzie just gave away my put your money where your mouth is pick here early in the show. But if you've seen Play It Where It Lies, which we've put out already this week, it's a great golf show with me and Stuart Conway, special guest Shane Bacon. I did pick Tiger Woods on Play It Where It Lies. So, yeah, I'm all in on Tiger. I feel like a lot of people aren't thinking about Fowler, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so young. I think he's got a good chance. He's a five-time
PGA Tour winner and finished second last year at the Masters.
So I think he's going to be a contender that people should look out for.
A lot of people are looking at Ricky Fowler, no doubt. And again, we encourage you to check out Play It Where It Lies, new golf show here with Bash Brothers Media. I could just say this, Mackenzie, one thing I do know what will happen on Saturday and Sunday, I'm not going to move. I can hang back there. He's not going to move either. I mean, we're going to be locked in. I'm going to have ISO Joe on the couch with me. It's my favorite weekend of the year.
If anyone's going to watch golf, it has to be the Masters.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not the biggest golf person, but the Masters, I really do enjoy the Masters, watching it.
Everybody loves it, and it seems like the world stops and comes together to be in the golf world for 4 days. So again, check out Play It Where It Lies, and Masters actually starting today, so we just can't wait for that. I also can't wait for the NBA playoffs, Mackenzie, and they're tipping this week, and it's been a really interesting season. There's been a lot of drama out in LA.
It's the best reality TV show. I mean,
the NBA, I tell everyone
that. Exactly.
But when you look at the Eastern Conference, we'll start there. Just kind of what's the most interesting storyline for you when you just look at the Eastern Conference playoffs?
I mean, one of the craziest things to me is the fact that the Nets and the Magic are going to be in this. Since when have the Nets been good in the past 5 years? But I mean, of course, being from Indiana, the Pacers are being in there, which is huge. It's awesome. I mean, even though Victor Oladipo isn't playing, I don't believe, they're still really deep. And then the Bucks. Yeah. Awesome.
I think it's funny that, I forget, and we're going to have a couple of nods to the Who's Your State coming up in Table for Two, but I forget about your Indiana Pacers. And, that is what's compelling to me in the East is that it's so wide open. It's just for the first time, it's not LeBron. For about a decade, it would just be circle LeBron and he's in the finals. But now you have, your Pacers who are a part of that sort of group of five, to use the phrase, but in the NBA, the Pacers, can they do it as kind of the underdog role? But for me, it's the Boston Celtics, just because you talk about a soap opera.
They're set to play Boston, I believe.
All year. And so just kind of seeing if Boston with Kyrie Irving and, Gordon Hayward and all of those pieces that they brought together to be like that playoff team, it looks like they're kind of flipping the switch. I think Boston is the team to keep an eye on in the East. And then in the West, for me, it's unlike LeBron in the East, he's gone, it's the same deal in the West. You have the Warriors, and do you see any team that can play with Golden State?
I mean, obviously the Nuggets have been going back and forth neck and neck with them. But, I mean, like you mentioned with LeBron, the Lakers not being in that is it's kind of weird because, everyone thinks, LeBron's going to bring whoever he goes to a national championship title.
Yeah, and he usually elevates them in the playoffs. And, they've gone the other way. And it's funny, you look at, the last time LeBron missed the playoffs, the Sonics were still a team. Steve Nash was the MVP. Garnett led the league in rebounding. And, so really excited for the NBA playoffs. You talk about some exciting milestones in college baseball. We'll bring it to Mississippi a little bit. Jake Mangum and Mike Bianco. Bianco, head coach at Ole Miss, had his 300th win, but I want to start with Jake Mangum, the Mississippi State hit king. You've covered Mangum a lot. What does this record mean, and kind of what makes Mangum special in your eyes?
Well, I've talked to him a few times prior to the season, and I know he talks about this a lot, the whole fact that going to Omaha was a huge, big deal for them.
Yeah.
And that loss was so hard for them. And I think with him being a senior, obviously he comes back more experienced. But I think another thing is Lamona's coming in and showing him, hey, we know you're a guy that doesn't necessarily hit for power. It's more of getting contact and, looking at the pitches, seeing what you can get and getting those singles and doubles. And I think for him, being confident in that, getting the most amount of hits in Mississippi State
that's a heady
baseball
group.
history, that's huge.
That's a big group, and he's chasing down the SEC mark as well. You know what stands out to me about Jake Mangum, Mackenzie, and as opposed to Mike Bianco, who's been the face of that program for a decade. Jake Mangum has done all this at Mississippi State with 4 different coaches now. And when you think about a guy sort of to be a face of the program and to anchor your team going through all of that turmoil, for Mangum to, be able to stand out and whether it was, Canizero and what happened there or Gary Henderson and the interim coach and now Chris Lemonis, it's that's what stood out for me for Mangum is just his consistency. Started as a day one freshman, led the SEC in hitting, and then, and is here 4 years later after everything Mississippi State's been through. And then Mike Bianco, 300 wins. Bianco, gets some flack for what he hasn't done, but when you've won 300 games in the SEC, that's incredible.
How deep it is. The SEC West, there's 3 teams contending for the top right now. I think it's LSU, Arkansas, and Ole Miss.
Yeah, and then Mississippi State right there, and Auburn's been really good.
It says a lot about just him, the 300th career SEC win in that kind of a conference.
And I think Bianco, his consistency, again, over a remarkable 20-year stretch. And keep in mind, this was a program that was dormant until Mike Bianco came in. And if either of these guys, Mangum or Bianco, can win it all, start sculpting the statue. You know what I mean? In Starkville and Oxford, they're into that territory. Let's keep it in Mississippi. Spring football in the SIP. Now, you were up in Oxford, and you got a good look at Florida and Ole Miss in that baseball series where Bianco got his 300th win. But just your observations from the spring game.
Well, Tylen Knight, for him, I know he's had a lot of trouble in the past where he was injured. He went from wide receiver, running back.
Yeah.
Now
he's a jackknife.
He is. Yeah. And now he was playing in slot receiver during the spring game. And I know he talked a lot about, him being in those different positions didn't necessarily do anything to hurt him. If anything, it helped him being the jack of all trades, like you said. Especially with this team losing guys like, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown.
Someone's got to step up.
Someone's got to step up to the plate. Yeah. He made it. He did a really good job. Matt Corral, obviously, it was a spring game, so you can't put too much into
looks
it.
Good
but
in the spring game.
Exactly. But Matt Corral, I think, with a few more reps, he should be. We'll see.
Well, he's going to have to be for Ole Miss. And I think in Rich Rodriguez's offense, he's going to have some success if he can find some guys to throw the ball to. I think you and I both know who saw Tylen Knight up close in person take pro to a state championship. And I was talking with ISO Joe about this, this week, just kind of explaining Knight's history and the offers that he didn't get and the conversation around Ole Miss bringing Knight on. And people wondered, was it a media play? Was it a pity offer? I think you and I and people who saw him on Friday nights are not surprised at all that he not only played as a freshman, but he's working his way into a star.
Exactly, yeah.
And as we look ahead to this weekend, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, Jackson State, all in the spring games. And I think whether it's USM, Jackson State with a new coach and John Hendrick, and certainly Mississippi State, new quarterback after a 3-year starter and Fitzgerald leaves. It's all about the offense for all 3 of these programs who play pretty darn good defense the last 3-4 years.
Exactly. And Southern Miss, mentioning them, I know last season they weren't as experienced, I guess you could say, where they're coming in this year, they're really experienced. They got a solid defense. Defensive or tight end and linebacker, I know is a little shaky, but I mean, you got playmakers on their team. And,
big time.
And then, like you said, with JSU, I think for them, the biggest question is at quarterback.
Yeah.
You got 3 guys.
Yeah.
Derek Ponder, little, kind of, you don't really know what's going to happen.
And you mentioned Ponder, like he's a talented kid, and that's a whole new offensive staff. Like they struggled under Tony Hughes to move the football, to run the football, to just block anybody. You know what I mean? Let me throw, let me run. They were pretty good on defense as well. And so the offense is definitely the question, looking at all 3 of those programs in the spring game going forward. Hey, she's Mackenzie Salmon in the line. We hit the upgrade button on our guy, Ray Coleman. But
poor Ray.
Poor Ray's about to get Wally pipped in here. I can just feel it. But we're really glad to have Mackenzie. Coming up next, we're going to have our deep dish where we will look at Southern Miss football kind of up close. Joe and I went down to Hattiesburg this week and got to spend some time with Jay Hobson one-on-one, so we'll talk about that a little. And everybody's favorite segment, we cooked up a special one just for our guest host, Mackenzie. It's one of my favorite segments we've done here at Bash Brothers. That's coming up next here in the Sports Lounge.
You are in the Sports Lounge. Follow us online at Bash Brothers Media and share, like, and follow the show to enter to win a one-night stay for 2 at Waterview.
You're in the Sports Lounge. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm excited to be here with the Bash Brothers crew.
We're excited to have you here. Mackenzie Salmon stepping in for Ray Coleman. We're in here with the Bash Brothers ISO Joe on the ISO cam, Hack and Hank, our director, Josh Clegg, our audio tech. And we're glad you're with us here in the Sports Lounge as well. Still to come, we'll have our table for 2, which I can't wait for. Game time. Mackenzie and I are going to play skee ball. Are you ready to play skee ball in the Sports Lounge?
Yes.
I hope so.
I think you should be ready, though, because I'm pretty good at skee ball.
I don't doubt it. And, there's a lot on the line in game time every week. I'm going to have my feet to the fire if I don't get a W. And we'll have a big Masters pick at the end of the show, which Mackenzie already spoiled for us. But make sure you check out Play It Where It Lies. That's right. That's me. Make sure you check out Play It Where It Lies, our golf show with me and Stuart Conway. It's all over our Bash Brothers platforms as well. But let's go to the ISO cam right now that we introduced last week. And let's do a little deep dish on Southern Miss football. ISO Joe Simeone and I had a chance to go down to Hattiesburg and check out Southern Miss's spring scrimmage. Now, Joe, they'll play the spring game this weekend, so let's just tee that up, kind of putting both into them. What are we looking at most in the spring game this weekend based on kind of what we saw and heard last week?
Well, we talked a little bit about offensive coordinators when we were talking about Ole Miss, and I think it's the same story when you're looking at Southern Miss. We have new offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner. I think that watching the offense and seeing what they can do out on the field is really going to be the main story for the Southern Miss team during that scrimmage. See how they respond. This past week, we got a chance to watch them. As you said, we went down there, and it was really the defense that dominated the ball. But Jack Abraham is really starting to step up and show he's got that leadership quality now in his second year as a starter.
Really like Jack Abraham and kind of what he brought to that team. And I think Abraham is somebody that Southern Miss can hang their hat on and say, we've got a defense. If we can get the offensive scheme right, we've got a quarterback that can, be a championship level team, be a championship level quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember last season talking to him a little bit. He was very optimistic the whole entire season, which you need in a quarterback. And like you said, I mean, you said their defense won that in the spring scrimmage. Is that what you said?
Yes, yeah. Their defense had won. So.
Yeah. Like, they're coming in strong on the defense. I think, if you can mix that together and get the new offensive coordinator on the board with that, I mean, they should be nasty.
Yeah.
And I think they're really excited for Buster Faulkner, who's coming over from Arkansas State. If you looked at Arkansas State's offensive numbers from the last couple of years, in the passing game, they dominated, almost touching
numbers, man.
Yeah, they almost touched 4,000, and part of that is a credit to the quarterback that they had. But at the same time, I think that you can expect some of that to come over with him. It'll be interesting to see how Jack Abraham will do in this new system, and if he'll be able to excel like the Arkansas State was able to do in their offensive system under Buster Faulkner.
One thing to pay attention to at Southern Miss, and this it was reported on signing day, kind of wasn't really followed up on, and I got a chance to ask people down in Hattiesburg, close to the program, about Quez Watkins, 1,000-yard receiver last year, 9 touchdowns, easily their number one playmaker, one of the best players to watch in the CUSA. And Joe, it sounds a little up in the air. And, I was told by a coach on the staff, they said, it's up to Quez in terms of getting things right academically. He's in junior college right now.
Yeah, and that'll be really important for them to get him back. And we're kind of hoping that he will be back in time because, like you said, when you lose somebody that's that important to your offense, it's a big blow, especially for somebody like Jack Abraham who's trying to take the reins. He's going to want to have that number one wide receiver. So the Quez Watkins storyline is definitely something to keep paying attention to as we move forward in this season.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, also, their schedule is crazy this season.
Yeah.
You've got Bama, you've got State, Troy, which, Troy, I think it'd be an easy-ish win for them, but,
Troy's no
they
slouch.
got to have everything they can, and especially with this schedule they've got.
And Jay Hobson has been talking a little bit about that. I think he feels very confident that Southern Miss is starting to get to where they should be.
Yeah.
He feels like he's finally built that team to where he wants it.
Because they had some numbers issues when he came in after Ellis Johnson tanked the program and then Munkin and, trying to get it going. There was, I won't say corners cut, but it was a little more of a quick fix.
It was a quick patch.
Yeah, sure. And so there wasn't quite the foundation, I think. Because Hobson's there for the long haul, guys. That's the thing. And that's why Southern Miss brought Jay Hobson. They didn't want a Larry Fedora, a Todd Munkin that would win some games, but we would be looking for the first train out of town. Like Hobson knew that he was kind of there for the long haul. He kind of had a little bit of time to play with, you know what I mean, to get that foundation in place.
Yeah, I think he's felt that he's finally done that, and you got a chance to speak with him one-on-one, and we'll have a one-on-one piece coming up on bashbrothersmedia.com later this week, which you guys should definitely check out. But yeah, so that'll be really interesting to see how this team kind of responds to some of those tougher games that they're going to have on their schedule this year.
And Jay basically, told me, he said, this when I was at Southern Miss, this is who we played. We played Alabama, we played Florida State, and Jay was there in the heyday. Anybody, anyone, anytime, anywhere, and all of that. And now they're gonna get a nice check from going to play Alabama too. But I think it's it's where I think Jay Hobson wants to be. So again, encourage you to check out our my one-on-one with Jay. That'll be coming Friday ahead of the spring game down in Hattiesburg on Saturday. I'm ready for Table for Two. This has been a popular segment that we cut up and we put out online. We've had some different kind of, hoops edition. We had an opening day edition. This week, ISO Joe's got kind of a little miscellaneous grab bag in the Table for Two. Let's go back to the ISO Cam. You like that, right?
I love
Table for Two. So we got a lot of fun with this one. And College Town, best College Town.
No, wait, explain the game for us and our listeners.
I'm going to give you three choices and you get to pick the two best.
Okay.
So we're going College Town, and we're keeping it in Mississippi this time. And I'm really interested in your responses here because I finally got to have a taste of each town. So we got Starkville, Oxford, and Hattiesburg.
I'm going to let the ladies go first here and put Mackenzie right on the spot. Day one, show one, question one.
I know no matter what I say, there will be someone that's like, why didn't you pick my town?
Undoubtedly.
But I'm going to have to go, so I can pick two, the best two.
Table for two. One gets left out.
I'm definitely going to go with Hattiesburg just because the times I have been there, I'm not just saying this, but the people make the town so much better. Everyone there is so kind. They've got some really cool spots that are like you don't really see unless you go into the town more. Yeah. So definitely Hattiesburg.
Little hipster kind of, low side of town.
It's very chill, very southern. And then I'm probably going to have to go with Oxford as the second one probably. Just because... first of all, they have a Chipotle, only one in the state.
But they don't have a Waffle House.
But they don't. They might, though.
Like, if you've got a Chipotle, but I think the Waffle House, immediately negates that. You know what I mean? Like, not having one.
But did you see on Twitter that...
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so they might be getting
angling
one.
for a Waffle House.
Oxford's really cool. I like the square area.
So you're leaving Starkville out. I'm going to do the same thing. And we're talking about 5 generations of Mississippi State in my family. Like, I grew up a State fan going to Starkville.
Fun, though.
And Starkville has come such a long way with the Cotton District and the explosion of things since the mid-90s. They're all three great. We should put out a disclaimer. I love my weekends in all three. I'm with you on Hattiesburg for the same reason. I love the kind of artsy, cosmopolitan,
You can
feel.
go in there and everyone will treat you kind. They're not going to look at you weird.
There's a little more like it's built around Southern Miss, but it's not just a college town like Starkville and Oxford. And I'm going to go with Oxford too because it's Oxford. There's the Grove. There's the restaurants. There's Faulkner's house. Like Starkville, Louisville's close by. Now, I like Starkville also, but that's table for two, man. Only 2 out of 3, so we both agree. Oxford and Hattiesburg. Joe, what you got?
Next up, we got Hoosiers alum, and we got Victor Oladipo, Tracy Porter, and Mark Spitz.
And tell us why this is a Hoosiers alum again?
It's for our wonderful co-guest.
That's right, Mackenzie Salmon, a Hoosiers alum. Why isn't Mackenzie on the list?
Rude.
Who you got?
No, I'm just kidding. So I am going to have to go with Victor Oladipo, just because I was there during his time playing at IU. I got to see him just like in action, and he's come back quite a few times to come watch some games. I love Victor Oladipo, Pacers. And then probably Tracy Porter, just because he's like the only thing that came out of IU football that was good.
So we're going to leave the all-time great swimmer like Mark Spence and his like dozen Olympic gold medals. Like
it's casual.
He doesn't get your table. It's so cash. So he doesn't get a part of your table for two.
What about you?
I'm going to go with Tracy Porter, obviously. You look at the ISO cam
Joe.
right behind Joe. It's the greatest play in the history of the game of football. No, being a huge Saints fan and Tracy Porter making the pick in Super Bowl 41, I have to go with Tracy Porter. And I can't leave Mark Spitz out. Go ahead, put the ISO cam on Joe with a thumbs up, and then you can see right behind him, the play. I don't think you can leave Mark Spitz out. I mean, he's Mark Spitz, so I've got to include Porter because of my Saints fandom.
Great, yeah.
And we're gonna leave.
I understand.
We're gonna have to leave Oladipo out. It's tough company. That's the whole point of the segment. You know what I mean? It's an exclusive table here in the lounge, and so we can only get two. I'm gonna go with Tracy Porter and Mark Spitz. You can't leave Mark Spitz out.
I know. Okay, well, Victor Oladipo, I know he's still, not that he has to prove more, but he still has some time that he has to do stuff with the Pacers, I think.
Yeah.
He did a lot of IU, but, I mean, like you said, Mark Spitz is good.
Yeah, Spitz
I just said Oladipo because I was there to actually watch him. It was a lot more different, I guess.
Sure.
Next up, we got Mississippi food. Catfish, barbecue, fried okra.
I'll knock this one out first. And
I was going to say, you go first.
It's like the fried okra. Like, is this really a conversation? I mean, like, okra can be great, like, when it's great, but, like, fried catfish and barbecue, they talk about, like, your death row meal. Well, let me say my champion's dinner. Let's keep it a little more positive instead of, like, a death row meal. But my champion's dinner would be fried catfish, definitely. And, like, if I got a chance for two entrees, I'm going to go with the barbecue. I like fried okra, okay, but this is actually not a hard one for me. It's fried catfish and barbecue.
See, I would agree with the catfish, definitely. Barbecue and fried okra is good. I haven't really had a whole lot being up north. At least good fried okra.
Yeah.
But
a lot of times it'd be
good,
like
though.
Soggy
It
and like
is,
the
and
okra is always so
now that
disappointing.
you mentioned that, probably barbecue, because barbecue can go with anything. I love barbecue chicken.
Yeah.
That is like my thing. Okay, barbecue catfish. We're kind of on the same
We're
page.
in agreement there. I felt like I had to talk you into the
You
barbecue.
did. The fried
maybe.
okay, but good fried
and then
okra.
she said, like, yeah, it's like good
But
fried okra,
soggy
but
is
more
great.
often than not, it's like been hanging out for a while, and it's like
hard to
not
mess
what
up
it was an
barbecue.
hour ago or what you thought it was last night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we got a tough one coming up now. Women's sports. Basketball, soccer, golf.
Basketball, soccer.
I'm gonna agree also, even though I'm a golf guy, like of the three LPGA, I said golf, of the three women's sports that like I think I enjoy watching the most as much as I love golf, like in this state, women's basketball being what it's been
by far.
with Mississippi State. And the Baylor Notre Dame championship game was outstanding.
So good.
It was magnificent. You get a great women's basketball game, and they're so exciting, the pace, the energy, and everything else. And got a chance to watch the U.S. women the other night. I think they beat Belgium like 6-0.
So good.
They are outstanding with Carly Lloyd and Alex Morgan and that that great group that's been there for a while. So I like women's golf. I watched a good bit of it last Friday, but yeah, I'm gonna go with basketball and soccer are sort of the more excited. I'm by far, but like we're
on the same page.
That's why you're here.
All right, last up, we got NBA playoff city, and this is more a city with an NBA playoff team.
So this is not like what city is the best for basketball.
Right.
It's just which of these three cities are we wanting to be in?
So the three cities are Miami, Houston, and Boston.
I saw that face from Boston,
Me
like,
too.
oh, Boston.
Me too.
Come on, I'm from New York.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say Boston just because Kyrie's there. Boston has got so much history. It's cool.
Stop.
I like Boston. I know you don't.
Wrong.
And then I'd probably pick Houston.
And leave out Miami.
Miami, yeah.
But
of all the places that you wouldn't, I would think you would have picked Miami first. Like, people knock on Miami, and then you go there and you're like, why wouldn't I want to be in Miami? This is great.
Miami's
like
fun.
sun, drinks, like good-looking people, all kinds of things going on. Boston?
But
you know how to say it? Like
think
Boston? Really? No,
you guys would
Boston's
not like
miserable.
to go to Boston.
I mean, I kind of
go
like
there in the
Boston,
winter. Tell me you enjoy it.
Yeah, go there in the winter and like
you
go
didn't
to some,
specify
like,
which season it would be in.
that's a fair
You
point.
just
Yeah,
said,
but that's the thing.
put
Miami,
the asterisks on
like
that.
Miami,
ISO
and
Joe
Houston,
asterisks.
like Miami, there is no season. That's the point.
That's
like,
true. It's summer
nice
all
the
year
time.
long.
No, like miss me with the Boston place. Like people are angry and
here.
cold and weathered and bittered, and everyone looks like 9 years older than they actually are. No,
So you pick Houston.
I'm going
definitely,
Miami and H-Town all day. Like Houston, not my favorite, but I'm going Houston over Boston. I'm with you, ISO Joe. I know, and I don't know.
Respect.
A lot of love for the other two, Miami and Houston. A lot of love for our Table for Two segment. Hope you had some fun with that one here in the Sports Lounge.
That was fun.
And coming up next in the Sports Lounge, not Boston, not Miami, not Houston, but live from Augusta, Georgia at the Masters. Can you believe it? David Brandt will join us. We'll certainly talk Masters, a little college baseball as well. Stay with us in the Sports Lounge. You're in the Sports Lounge. I want to welcome in to the Sports Lounge a special guest, a special friend, and Mackenzie, a pretty special occasion. David Brandt with the Associated Press joining us live from Augusta National at the Masters. And David, thank you for taking some time out to come talk with us lowly plebeians here in Jackson while you're at Augusta. But just what's it like over there? What's the scene? I know this is your first time to see it in person.
Well, I am a man of the people, so I took some time out to talk with my folks back in Jackson.
Yeah.
But it's pretty incredible. I mean, I'm here in the press room right now looking out over Augusta National. Beautiful day. Just watched, Tiger Woods hit it a little bit on the range. It's kind of a golfing Disney World, basically. So it's all it's cracked up to be. It's been pretty awesome.
Okay. I have a question for you, David. Were you starstruck when you saw Tiger Woods?
No, not really. You get past that. I mean, it was cool to watch Tiger Woods. Don't get me wrong, but I've at this point in my career, you learn to kind of compartmentalize that. You know what I mean? I've watched LeBron James play basketball. I've covered Drew Brees, Reggie Bush. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all just people.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, Tiger, it's incredible watching him hit the ball, and he's still at 43 years old, still, just ripped. I mean, he's in incredible shape, and so it's pretty awesome watching. Obviously, one of the best that's ever played.
David, what's your sense of Tiger's expectation level this week from kind of what you can feel on the grounds, what people are saying? I mean, is it a real thing that Tiger's a legitimate favorite and will contend on Sunday, or is that sort of more wishful thinking, from the golfing masses?
I don't know. Favorite might be a strong word, but I certainly think there's optimism surrounding his game. I mean, obviously I haven't seen Tiger hit in person many times, but he looked good out there today. Look, his swing was just real easy. He looked confident. I think he feels confident. I think his game's in a pretty good spot. I think it's about, with him, it's been, can he get off to a decent start? And if he does, look out. I think he's got, just as much of a chance as a lot of people. So, again, like I said, a favorite might be a little strong, but certainly with his history here and obviously the fact it's just Tiger Woods, I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's right in the mix.
David, let's bring it to the Magnolia State. And you talk about a superstar who's putting up accomplishments, that are really second to none, much like sort of Tiger at the college baseball level in Starkville, Jake Mangum. How would you frame what it means for him to have the Mississippi State hit record, but also just kind of Mangum's career and the type of player he's been for Mississippi State?
Well, it's just incredible to get those kinds of records, especially at a place like Mississippi State, which has obviously had some pretty good ball players over the years.
Yeah.
You've got to be awesome from the moment you step on campus. You have to start from day one. You have to be at the top of the lineup from day one, and you have to get at-bats. And that's what he's produced every single year, every single moment. He doesn't give at-bats away. It depends on what they do, but he's going to be fairly close to setting the all-time NCAA hits record. He probably won't get there. I think it's about 418 or something like that. So, even if they go deep, I can't really see him getting much more than about 400. But still, I mean, it's incredible what he's done. And again, it speaks to not just how talented he is, but the consistency day in, day out, not giving many days away, not going 0 for 4 basically ever, always getting 1 or 2 hits, if not 4 or 5 some games. It's really incredible. And I think, people, if you're watching Jake Mangum the next 7 or 8 weeks, appreciate it, because there's not many baseball players at the college level that are that good and that consistent.
Mm-hmm. And also for Bianco, for Ole Miss, 300th career SEC win. What does that say about a program for Ole Miss and as a coach? I know a lot of people say he hasn't won a national title, but that is hard to do as a coach here in the SEC.
Well, yeah, the thing that I have been most impressed with Mike, covering him over the years, is that kind of like Mangum with his at-bats, Mike Bianco never gives a year away. Yeah. He never gives up on a team. Every single team, even once in a while, he usually has really good talent, but once in a while, the team doesn't quite come together like they think, but he pulls somehow 38, 40 wins out of that team. They still go to the NCAA tournament, and then some years, obviously, he's been to a College World Series. He's been to a lot of super regionals, just the consistency. And again, day in, day out, he doesn't give away games. He's always engaged. He doesn't, obviously his recruiting has been good enough and consistent enough that he has the players, but that's always been, I've always thought Mike's best quality is that he's probably worth 4 or 5 wins every year, just pulling the best out of the players he has, even if he doesn't have an amazing team that year.
And they've added up to 300 in the SEC, which is just mind-boggling, one of the tops all time and the best baseball conference in the country. David, before we let you go, I got a simple question for you, Masters-related, Augusta National. What are your thoughts on the pimento cheese sandwich?
I just had one. I am a monstrous fan. I may never come home.
You're a monstrous fan?
Monstrous.
Wow.
He didn't say fan. He didn't say I like it.
Monstrous.
He said, I'm a monstrous fan. Hack and Hank is rejoicing in the back right there.
I just go back and forth between pimento, egg salad. Pimento, egg salad. Next time you see me, I'll be 300 pounds.
300 wins for Bianco, 300 pounds for Brandt. He's David Brandt with the Associated Press, kind enough to take some time from Augusta National and the Masters and join us here in the Sports Lounge. David, enjoy the week. I know you will. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Take care.
Thanks a lot, man.
See ya.
David Brandt in the Sports Lounge. You can get David on Twitter at DavidBrandtAP. Of course, this is the Sports Lounge. We're hosted by Waterview Sportsbook and Casino. You can get the show on Twitter at Bash Bros Media, Facebook.com/Bash Brothers Media, and of course, our YouTube channel as well.
You are in the Sports Lounge. Follow us online at Bash Brothers Media and share, like, and follow the show to enter to win a one-night stay for 2 at Waterview.
Welcome into the Sports Lounge. Big thanks to David Brandt with the AP for joining us live from Augusta National at the Masters. It's big time Brandt, you know the deal.
It doesn't surprise me he's there. He's everywhere, all the time.
Well, he's not here for the good part, which is game time in the Sports Lounge. All right, Mackenzie. So Ray and I, we pull out a different game every week, and we just go at it. We got skee ball this week. Now, you told me you really wanted to play beer pong. You were so ready when I mentioned that.
I was so ready. I'm pretty good at beer pong, but like you said, I'm fresh out of college, so my skills are still fresh.
I have a feeling like beer pong against this girl was not the game that I wanted to play. You talk about taking an L. We'll see here for skee ball. So here's the deal. We're gonna get 1 round, 5 tosses. As the guest of honor, the lady guest of honor, I'm gonna let you choose whether you want me to go first or if you want to take the honors.
I'll let you go first. So I can
show you how it's done.
So I can mentally prepare for the skee ball.
You want to know the number that you got to beat.
All right,
we got 5. I think we're hearing music now at this point. I think they are, so I'm gonna let it rock. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's automatic. This isn't gonna be close. Almost had the 5 spot. Well, I'm like Mike Bianco, man. I'm just stacking up W's. I'm just stacking them up.
All right, so that is
1, 2, 3, 4, 40, 30. think that makes
We're journalists.
70.
We're not math.
But that makes 70.
5, 6, 7. Yeah,
70 is the number to beat. All right,
Okay.
one time for your mind. What do you think? You think you can beat 70? You guys think she can beat 70?
Yeah.
Hack and Hank's
right.
got confidence back there.
All right. I'm a lefty, so beware. All right.
I like my chances. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You do? Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, my.
Oh, it's the board
Okay,
right
so
there.
I gotta get
You gotta
40.
hit the board.
30. Oh, so am I
this is
already
close.
ahead?
Oh,
wait.
that was the clutch
Wait,
one.
we got 70
We
each.
had a tie. I think it's time for sudden death in the sports
cheers.
lounge. Let's go sudden death playoff, baby.
March
18th
Madness
hole. All right,
edition.
one row here. No, we just
okay.
got one row for
Okay.
all the marbles. All right.
Give me.
How does this work? You wanna keep going?
Yeah, you go. Yeah,
Okay.
you go.
All right. One row of sudden death for all the marbles. Give me. Oh, that's weak. Come on.
Weak sauce.
Come
All
on.
Bada bit. Yeah, I want to do the whoa, but I don't want to embarrass myself.
It's okay. The embarrassment's already been done. Mackenzie
right.
Salmon, you're a winner.
You're welcome, Ray Coleman.
Skee-ball.
Invite me next time you need me for sports.
I don't want to play anymore, man. I'm done with this game time segment.
The Sports Lounge is brought to you by the Sportsbook at Waterview Casino in Vicksburg, giving you the edge in sports betting.
So, John, how do you feel about that skee ball?
I need a drink, is how I feel. I need a drink in the sports lounge. A sudden death skee ball loss to Mackenzie Salmon.
How perfect. We just came off
No, it's not perfect at all. It's
the
terrible.
OT winning the NCAA championship, and now we got an OT in skee ball.
I know one person who's going to be absolutely thrilled and have very much fun with the fact that I lost to you in game time. My partner in crime, Ray Coleman. We miss Ray, but
You're welcome, Ray.
You did good in his stead. It was a nice sudden death finish. I didn't expect
was.
that. And it was
No.
kind of an
I
impromptu,
didn't expect it either.
one throw for all the money, and way to clutch up.
No problem.
Way to clutch
in
up.
those situations,
I'll
clutch.
take my like Bruce Pearl and Tom Izzo, like we said, take our defeat with class, grace under pressure and all that. No, really, want to thank you for coming in to the
thanks
Sports
for
Lounge
letting me
today,
come.
and I have a special gift for you.
wow.
I have some swag for our guest host. I've seen you wear the baseball cap before. I know you like to wear it a lot,
love my
so we've
baseball
got
cap.
a fresh, brand new, right out of the box
Wow,
Bash
thank
Brothers
you.
hat just for you.
Thank you. I'll wear it with pride, knowing I'd be doing skee ball that
There
one
you go,
time.
exactly. Attached skee ball champ,
That's just a
right,
little pin.
right on the side. But yeah, so
Thank you.
Mackenzie, certainly glad, and we appreciate your support. With all of our Between the Pines stuff the past couple years. But you're doing some really cool stuff at the Clarion Ledger. Just I see all the videos, and us as a multimedia company, we are totally in that mode of everything digital, everything video where we can, and appreciate everybody joining us in the Sports Lounge. But just tell us what you got going on at clarionledger.com.
Yeah, so like we talked about before, a lot of stuff, I'm completely digital like you guys, and that's a huge part of what I do. I've got Capital Cuisine that I've helped start, and I edit and produce a lot.
And that looks fun. So the Capital, so you walk in there, you flash your Clarion Ledger badge, you're like, we're reviewing your restaurant, and they just roll the carpet out for you?
It's a little bit more that goes into that, but
Okay.
We started off at Babalu, and we just finished the first episode. It was really fun, but we're wanting to focus on a lot of local restaurants that make Mississippi. And one of the cool things that we do that I kind of helped implement is having fans be a part of it and choose what we eat. So kind of getting involvement in that was one thing that was huge, I think, in making that. It should be fun. Getting out of the sports a little bit.
And, and there's no better place to do a Capital Cuisine series than Jackson, Mississippi, I don't think. You know what I mean?
There are so many places I haven't even heard of, and people are like, you should go here. And I'm like, I've never heard of that. So it's opening my eyes to Southern food. I had shrimp and grits for the first time the other day.
And your thoughts?
Really good. The grits didn't taste like grits, though. It tastes like mashed potatoes. It was so good.
It's a fun dish. It's a great dish that you can do a lot of different ways. And the big thing about shrimp and grits is you can get them any time of day. They're great for breakfast, but cue me up you know what I mean, a gin and tonic and over at Babalu, the good gin drinks, shrimp and grits 4:30. Why not?
let me tell you.
I might leave the sports lounge and
say,
go
come be a
right
guest
over
on
there.
ours.
Yeah, it sounds great.
We'll set it up.
We'll have to make that happen. And like we said, we encourage all of you guys to share the word about the Sports Lounge. It's a new show. This is our, I guess, third or fourth show, it seems like now. We're just flying by, but we're really excited about it. We're glad that y'all have watched and tuned in the show. So make sure you share the show, repost it, tell your friends about it, bring everyone into the lounge every week. We have a lot of fun in here, as you see.
It's fun, and I love the fact that you guys shine light on all the different schools, you know, Jackson State, Southern Miss, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, high school, just having everything in there. And even then on the national level, kind of NBA stuff.
Yeah. It's important for us, and you know me. I mean, it's all the schools in the state, right? Exactly, all the levels, all the sports, high school, college, and we talk a lot about Mississippians in the pros as well. Coming up with the NFL draft, I mean, what a fun time that's going to be, right? With all of the State and Ole Miss cats in the draft,
especially with I know Mississippi State, they were wanting to set a record for most kids in program history drafted, but also, you know, you got number 1 pick, probably DK Metcalf or AJ Brown. So a lot of talent coming out of Mississippi, but also it's kind of stressful for the schools because a lot of that talent's going to be
not there anymore on Saturdays in the SEC. They're in fact on NFL fields on Sunday, but that's part of.
But it shows you the talent
playing
here.
in the league. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Well, we're gonna wrap up on the Sports Lounge here with our pick segment every week, brought to you, of course, by Waterview Sportsbook and Casino, giving you the edge in sports betting. Mississippi's #1 place for sports betting. We want you to make us Mississippi's #1 place for sports. We're gonna go with put your money where your mouth is. Your boys 3-0 on the year. My GameTime record is not very good, but my put your money where your mouth is ledger is.
You're a better.
Impeccable.
Yeah.
I'm a better.
Covering the
Although
spread.
I'm afraid, Mackenzie, this week though that this streak may end because I'm gonna pick Tiger Woods to win the Masters at 16-1.
Bold move, Cotton.
It's a real bold move, Cotton, that you teased like 45 minutes earlier, and you can get it on Play It Where It Lies as well, our Bash Brothers Media golf show. But, you know, I just, like, it's not crazy to think that Tiger can win this one, you know, because he was in the, you know, in the final group, the PGA Championship. He was in the lead at the Open Championship, 2 different majors last year. He won at East Lake in the Tour Championship. It was one of those things, Mackenzie, I said pretty much the second half of last year. I think Tiger's going to win at Augusta next year. It came down to it. I didn't feel as good about it, like going in, and I'm like, Tiger's not going to make enough putts to win at Augusta, but I'm going to stick with it and go with Tiger Woods. Put your money where your mouth is at 16-1 to win, and you've got a Masters pick also.
I'm going with Rory. I just feel solid about him. Also because, I mean, he's coming in, he's so experienced, but there's also so much competition this year, so many good players. But also Fowler, too. I mean, I think he's got a good chance, but I'm going to go with Rory.
Those are 2 really good picks. I mean, Stewart and I picked Rory. I feel like Lee Corso, good pick.
Good pick.
Who has no idea what the actual pick was, and Lee just good pick. But no, I mean, Stewart picked Rory McIlroy on Play It Where It Lies.
I believe.
And I went with Tiger, but, you know, Ricky Fowler is certainly a guy to keep your eye on. I mean, he would be on a short list if you were to make a top 10. I mean, Fowler's no lower than sort of 6 to 7. So I got Tiger 16-1. Mackenzie's got Rory McIlroy, who is your betting favorite in the Masters, and we can't wait to sit back and watch the Masters this week. And again, Mackenzie Salmon, an absolute pleasure for having you in the Sports Lounge.
This has been fun. I hope I can come back.
We will certainly.
I'll be looking for that bet and see. I'll be texting you once I win with Rory.
Oh, and Rory. Well, I thought you were going to text me more about your skee ball win, but I'm sure we'll revisit that one as well. Hey, for ISO Joe Simeone, our producer and director, Hack and Hank back there, our audio engineer, Josh Clegg, I'm Jon Wiener. For the lovely Mackenzie Salmon, this is the Sports Lounge. Mackenzie, thanks a lot.
Thanks again.